Alright, so I tried to get something out earlier than this. Really freaking hard. But my life's been freaking crazy. And this wasn't what I was planning on getting out first. It was a Steven Universe video. But I'm not really sure I'm liking how that's turning out. I might want to rethink my entire approach to it. Which is so annoying. I hate caring about the quality of my work. Today we're talking about the new season of Percy Jackson, at least the 2 episodes that are out. I don't know what my schedule is going to be yet. For sure. I'm looking at what I have like in the works right now. Take a break from uploading endless D&D episodes for a while. That would save me a little bit of time. The few of you who actually watched those at all, by the way. Other D&D content, would you guys like to see that? I don't know. I am going to at least try to get reviews of this show out as timely as I can. I'm doing the first 2 episodes in this review because they dropped the first 2 episodes together, which I think they did for season 1 too, if I remember correctly. And like with the first season, they're making small changes throughout the story of what is this time Sea of Monsters, the second Percy Jackson book. Which I think, a lot more than a lot of fans do. A lot of fans see it as kind of the weakest of the original 5. And then like dislike it because that. Like I think it might be too, honestly. But like I still think it's pretty good. I like the Odyssey though, so. And straight up, ever since the first time I read it, the coordinates that Percy gets from the Grey Sisters to lead him to Grover, 30, 31, 75, 12. I have never been able to forget them. Can't remember people's names or what I ate for breakfast yesterday, but I've been able to remember that for like I don't even know how many freaking years now it's been. So like there's a moment in episode 2 where Tantalus tries to recite the coordinates because he heard them from Percy earlier, and he gets them wrong, and then Percy comes in to say those weren't the right numbers, and like because the audience isn't necessarily remembering, I'm like, I knew immediately. And they did keep the coordinates right in the show, which is cool. But they have been making small changes, and I understand a lot of them. We don't get to see the school at the beginning at all. Annabeth shows up to get Percy before he gets to school in this version. Because where Percy has been dreaming that Grover's in danger, Annabeth has been dreaming that the camp's in danger, and this time it's not like a dream of things that are happening on her end, it's a prophetic dream. And they do manage to get back to camp as Luke is poisoning... I'm going to review this, assuming you read the book, by the way. As Luke is poisoning the tree. Which I liked. I liked that as a change. Because it not only... Like, Luke in this version, I buy him a lot more as, like, Percy and Annabeth's friend. He didn't really feel like that until, like, his last scene in Book 5 in the books for me. I just kind of, bought it because the characters believed it, and it's fine. It doesn't really matter that much. But in this, I really buy it. And they did correct one major issue I had with the plot of the first 5 books with Season 1, and that's that, as of Book 3, we know that Kronos and Luke and their side is not above trying to manipulate the Great Prophecy for their own benefit. And yet, in Book 1, Luke tries to kill Percy so that he won't be able to fulfill the Great Prophecy. And that never really made sense. It felt like Book 3 was a retcon. Technically, the end of Book 2 even was a retcon, because the secret reason Luke initiates the scheme that he does in Book 2 is to revive a character that he can try to use to turn the Great Prophecy against the Olympians. Why wouldn't he try to do that with Percy, too, if they were already friends? And especially in the show, where it's Luke that shows Percy around camp at first instead of Annabeth, and they're closer, seemingly, in the show. It would make sense for him to try to recruit him, and so they fixed that. And so they have this much more personal connection, both of them, Percy and Annabeth, with Luke. in this version. So I like that they got to see him poison the tree. It had way more impact that way. And it let them roll an event from the school into an attack on the camp. So that we still got to see the Lystragonian giants, but we didn't have to CG animate a bunch of giant gold bulls, which we saw the gold bull in the movie Sea of Monsters, so I'm fine with that. I still would have liked to have seen it here, but it was efficient. It got us to the camp early, saved them a little money, because this is going to be an effect-heavy second half. There's going to be a lot of sailing and a lot of magic and a lot of monsters and stuff. I understand they're not going to front-load this with a bunch of expensive effects. And I like, in this version, even Chiron is acknowledging that Percy could be used, I'm assuming anyway, could be used against the Olympians if Luke flips him. Because he tells Annabeth about the great prophecy here, and then tells her that she can't let him anywhere near whatever Luke is scheming. Because they've already worked out, because of a couple of other slight changes they made, that Luke wants them to go on a quest for the quest item of this book, the Golden Fleece. Which is not the Odyssey, that's Jason and the Argonauts, right? Well, the story of Jason, you know what I mean. And so there's this little bit of added tension between Percy and Annabeth, where she's trying to keep him from going on the quest, and she fails. But she does kind of betray him for a minute in the process of doing that. And I like that better, because in the books, all of the tension between them just came from the fact that they know in the back of their minds that their godly parents are rivals. And that, you can't see that happening. In a book where the characters are reminding themselves of that in dialogue, and even in their own minds, it works, but you need to be able to see the tension in a visual medium. So I think that works really well. And it sucks, because, what's her name? I need to look it up, because I can't remember her name all of a sudden. The girl who's playing Annabeth. Leah. She was great. You could tell how absolutely pained she was to have to hurt Percy in the way that she did. She's turning into a great little actress. All of these characters, all of these actors are great. Even the girl playing Clarice, who I wasn't really sold on during the casting or in season 1, is doing a great job of playing an angsty character who has been told all her life that, like, strength is the only thing that matters, and you have to prove yourself, and you can't show weakness. Like, there's subtleties to her performance already, and Clarice isn't even a very complex character in this book. She's a little more complex than in the first one, but they're good. They're all good, is my point. Except kind of the guy playing Tantalus. I know his name too. I'm not going to look it up. It doesn't matter. I don't like him very much. I don't like Tantalus very much in general, though, so that's probably why. The one change I don't know if I like, in fact, I don't think I do, is the change they made to the nature of Percy's relationship with the Cyclops that he kind of adopts at school, and then later finds out that they're half brothers, Tyson. In the book, Percy didn't even particularly like Tyson at first, right? But he saw people bullying this. He couldn't tell he was a Cyclops immediately in the book either, because of the mist. He just thought he was a homeless kid that the school had allowed in to take classes as kind of a charity thing. And he saw people picking on this kid that was big and seemed kind of slow and seemed scared of everything. And even though he didn't particularly like him either, he stood up to those people and took him under his wing and took care of him. And there was some resentment there, and there was even some more resentment later when Poseidon claims him at the camp to save his life. But he did his absolute best not to let Tyson see that, because he knew it was his problem and not Tyson's. And eventually they grow to be true brothers. And it was entirely Percy's choice, and it spoke to his character. But in the show version, they have it be his mom, Sally, that discovers Tyson and takes him in. And Percy's just going along with it because it was his mom's idea. He's like even living at the house with him. And I get that they're trying to build more of a familial thing between them right off the bat, but like, that doesn't tell me anything about Percy's character anymore. It tells me something about Sally's. It reinforces the fact that she's the absolute best character in the series, morally speaking. But it doesn't tell me as much about Percy as it did before. I'm hoping the rest of the season gets their relationship a little more correct in that way, but I did not like that change. The more I'm talking about it out loud, the more I realize I did not like that change. I did not think it worked. Everything else, though, the stuff that was more or less the same, like even the meeting with Hermes on the beach prior to actually going on the quest secretly, as Percy and Annabeth and Tyson eventually end up doing, since Tantalus, mostly just to be a petty dick, gives the quest for the fleece to Clarice instead. Even that meeting was handled really well. It went basically the same way it did in the book, only modified to accommodate the fact that in the show version, Percy has met Hermes before. Even based on the gifts that Hermes gives him, it seems like we're getting exactly the same obstacles in the show version that we did in the book, which is great, because the Sea of Monsters movie, which I like more than most people, honestly, changed him up, and I thought that was for the worst. So I'm looking forward to seeing book-accurate Sea of Monsters obstacles in this. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm hoping we get to see one particular monster in the scope that we did in the book. Guess in the comments which monster. I'm trying not to spoil anything for people who haven't read the book. I know I just said I was gonna. It doesn't matter. I'm a self-contradiction. The stuff that happened at camp was pretty spot on. They slightly modified the way they defeated the Stymphalian birds, but it was basically something that would have happened in the book. It was basically what happened in the book. It was really good. It was really well handled. I liked that. I thought it was cute. I'm glad they kept it. They kept the reason why Tantalus sent Clarice on the quest, or the excuse he used for it, instead of Percy, who had been getting dreams about it. And even the absolutely silly Grover dressing up in a wedding dress to try to trick the nearly blind Polyphemus, the Cyclops, into thinking he's a lady Cyclops that wants to marry him, that's in the book, was lifted straight into the show. It was great. The empathy link between Grover and Percy is here, too, which I was worried they weren't going to keep. Grover gets his panpipes in this book now, finally. It's all very well handled. Stuff that was left out of the first season, or that I was worried based on the first season would be left out of this one. It's all showing up here, where we start to really need it. It gives me, like, I like the first season. You guys know that. I reviewed it. But it's given me a lot of extra hope for the quality of this one. Even Percy seems a little more jokey this season, which is great. He was a little over serious in season 1. That was like a main complaint with it. It seems like that's not the case anymore. He's a little sardonic smartass, and I love it. Overall, there are a couple things here that I didn't love. I didn't think they were done the way I would have done them. I would have liked to have seen the bulls. I understand why they weren't there. And I would have kept the stuff with Tyson closer to the book, frankly. But these are good episodes. These are good premiere episodes, and they have me really psyched for Wednesday when the next episode comes out. I'm assuming it's just going to be one at a time from here on out. But who freaking knows? We'll see. We even got a cameo in episode 1 from the best character in the franchise. He's technically on Luke's team right now, but he eventually switches sides, so I was real psyched about that. Yeah, the fans of the book, keep watching the show, because I know you're already watching it after season 1, most of you anyway. It's just as good, if not like tracking better than season 1. And people who haven't read the books, watch the show. It's a good show. You'll like it. And maybe you'll get into the books because of it, because I doubt they're going to go on to do, like, Heroes of Olympus after this, right? Everybody'd be too old. Like, way too old at that point, right? Unless they recast. So, like, this show is really all we're going to get with these people anyway, probably, in this universe. And so even once you finish it, it's going to be 5 seasons. There is so much more Percy universe stuff to get into. If you like the show, read it. Especially, there's now, like, a proper continuation of Percy Jackson and the Olympians. There's a 6th and a 7th book, and there's at least one more, an 8th one coming out soon, of Percy finishing his high school career and moving into college. They're really good. They're written a little simpler, in the same style as the first 5. So if you like the show, in particular, read those. Read the other 5 first, but read those. Like, they allude to things that happened in the meantime in other books, but you can follow them fine without knowing that. A character we're gonna get starting next season of the show, Nico, gets a couple books with his boyfriend, Will. They're really good. I think he's getting a 3rd one of those too. And like, read Heroes of Olympus too. It's not as bad as some people say it is. In particular, though, Rick Riordan has another fantasy series in the same vein as Percy and set in the same universe. He's got a couple of them, but he's got one in particular, the Coyne Chronicles. Super underrated. It's Egyptian mythology. I love it. I was an Egyptian mythology kid, though. Even more than a Greek mythology kid, though. So I'm, like, suited to it, but read it. It's really good. It has 2 first-person narrators, and they're both just the most fun characters. I love them both so much. Sadie in particular, but they're both great. It's got a real Dipper and Mabel vibe, honestly. You'll like it, I think. It's great. Just get into this show. Get into this series. I want more people to read it. I want more people to like it. I know it's huge already, but I'm like screaming into a mostly empty void of people who haven't experienced this franchise yet. But get into it, please, if you haven't. It's so good. Hot chocolate, because it's almost Christmas. All that said, apologies for the ramble at the end. Apparently I forgot how to make videos, and all the time I've been not making videos. What do you guys think of the first 2 episodes of Percy Jackson Season 2? Did you like them? Do you have complaints with them? Either way, let me know in the comment section down below. But either way, this has been AJ22, and I will talk to you guys later.